Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Emily and I am a professional hair and makeup artist. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing all about what your hairstylist wishes you knew. As a hairstylist, there are a few things that I find really helpful when my clients understand these things, so I figured I would just sit down today and chat with you guys about little nuggets of information that might make your salon experience go a little bit smoother and a little bit easier and make your relationship with your hairstylist a little bit better. The first thing we're going to talk about is no-shows or being late to your appointment. I am a chair rent hairstylist, which means I pay rent monthly to the salon owner, and in turn I get to set my own hours, set my own schedule. But when my clients pay me, they pay me directly. It doesn't go to the salon, it goes to me, and then I take care of my own business expenses, taxes, yada 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 yada. So if you don't show up to your appointment, I make $0. If you're not in my chair, I'm not making money. If I have no one in my chair, I'm not making money. Let's say you book out a 3-hour appointment, which is my average color, like blonding time frame. You book out a 3-hour appointment and you no show. You don't call or anything. I'm sitting there waiting until about 15 minutes after the start of your appointment and you're not there. I cancel it and I'm out several $100s. It's not fun, and it's not fun for you either, because a lot of times doing that to a stylist will put you on their oh shit list, and it probably is going to be hard for you to get back in with them. No showing is a huge issue that you should never ever do that to your hairstylist. If you can, give 48 hours notice that you need to cancel or reschedule, because that will give us enough time to reach out to another client to see if they can fill that designated slot. And if you just don't show up and you don't tell us, it's rude, first off, but we're out that money and we have no time and no way of making up that revenue and filling that slot. So don't ever just not show up. Now, being late, this is another hot topic, because a lot of times people don't view being, 5, 10, 15 minutes late a big deal. But if I take 45 minutes to cut your hair and you show up 15 minutes late, that leaves me with 30 minutes to cut your hair. That's not how I roll. I'm not like this quick in and out jet setter. I can be speedy when I need to be, but that is not my main goal when I'm doing hair. I like to take my time. I like to make it a whole experience. And so you showing up late just pretty much shows me that you don't respect my time. Also, if I'm going to accept that you're going to be late, then that means I'm accepting that I'm going to go over my designated time and be late for my next client after you. And that doesn't translate well, because my next client doesn't know if I'm running late because of you or if I'm running late because of me. They're just probably going to assume that I'm running late, and that's annoying, not knowing that it's the client in front of them that chose to show up late and I chose to still service them. So a lot of times with being late, I won't accept anyone 15 minutes or more past their start time. I am really working on boundaries, and so even 15 minutes is cutting it close sometimes, because that's our entire consultation at the beginning of the appointment, where I get to take my time and chat with you and figure out what you want and what kind of goals you have for that hair appointment. And so if you show up late, it cuts into that time and things feel rushed and it's just not appropriate and it's rude. Don't show up late and don't no-show. Just be courteous and mindful of your stylist and the time that they dedicate for you. I feel like that takes us into expectations and honesty. We need to take our time to figure out what it is that you are expecting from us. And also, we need you to be honest. We are not mind readers. Just like when you go to the doctor, you have to tell them all of what's going on with you and why you are there. That is the same with your hairstylist. If you lie about what is on your hair, we will find out. If you say you haven't box colored your hair in years and it's not in your hair anymore, the second we put lightener on it, we will know exactly what your hair history is, whether that's good or bad. And the last thing we want is for anything damaging with long-term damaging effects to happen to you. So if you are honest with us, we can figure out how we are going to navigate your hair then if we know the entire history, and don't lie to us. If you've done stupid things to your hair, you are not alone. So many people I have seen have used, all of those direct dye pigments, Kool-Aids. They've cut their own hair. Trust me, your hairstylist has seen and heard of it all. Don't be the person lying and then getting into a worse situation with hair melting, of reaction, whatever it may be. Just be honest. We need to know what's going on with your hair before we can start your hair. Please keep that in mind. Just be honest with us. Be honest with what your expectations are, but also be realistic. We honestly, as a hairstylist, want nothing more for you than to have bomb-ass beautiful hair. We want nothing more than to execute your dream hair on you. But please know that we are being honest with you when we say, sorry girlfriend, that's not achievable, or your hair texture is different, or that's actually not gonna look like that on your hair, or you don't have enough hair, or you have too much hair. We are here to be honest with you and to try and deliver the best results possible that you are looking to achieve. And sometimes it's just not realistic. You're pulling up that Pinterest photo going, oh, that's beautiful, I want that. We're pulling up that same photo, looking at it going, what do you actually have on your head? What's your lifestyle like? What is your diet like? How do you style your hair? Do you take any time at all to style? Are you wet, wash, and go? There are so many factors that go into us looking at you and how are we gonna get that photo on you and if it's possible. So if we are saying that that's not possible, that's not us being lazy. That's not us just wanting to take the easy way out. That's us knowing the limits of ourselves as stylists, or also or the limits of your hair. So just know we really want you to get what you want, but also having realistic expectations will really, really help you fully get the best experience out of your hair appointment, because we don't want to let you down, but the reality is we can't have it all. And sometimes you are going to be told by your hairstylist that that's just not going to work, or that color isn't great with your skin tone, or your hair texture isn't good enough. There's a variety of reasons of why maybe your hairstylist is telling you something you maybe don't want to hear, but you just have to trust us and know that we're being honest with you and that it's always with a reason behind it. It's always going to be what's in the best interest for you and your hair. So at the end of the day, just know that if you're honest with us, we're going to be honest with you, and we can build this beautiful relationship that then allows for you to have great hair. Kind of segueing into that is that our job is hard. So just being a client and understanding that your hairstylist isn't just like, oh, playing with hair. Your hairstylist had to go and obtain a license. They had to get so many hours worth of schooling and education. They had to go and do continued education every few years. They deal with customer service side of things. They work with the general public. They deal with people every day. All of that stuff aside, it's chemistry, it's science, it's art, it's, it really is all of these things. It's physical and mental. There's a lot of things that go into being a hairstylist. We don't just sit around and play all day. It's a great, fun, rewarding career, but also at the end of the day, what we are doing is very difficult. So if your hairstylist has a foil right here, don't move your head. Actually, in general, just be like a statue during your hair appointment if you can. Doing this, looking at the door, checking out who's across the salon. That's only making our job harder. So understanding that our job is very difficult and we're working on a living, breathing human being. I'm not saying I'm like a heart surgeon. That's a whole different level of difficult. But what I'm saying is what we do is very, very challenging. And if you're not aware that what we're doing is challenging, it's even more of a challenge. So if you can understand that, if I position your head a certain way, it's to make my job easier on myself so I can do a really exceptional job on you. So just know that, body placement and all these things that your stylists are doing, it's make the outcome better. It's more than just playing with hair, and the things that we do are for a specific reason. And if you have questions about something that we're doing, always ask. I feel like I'm the type of hairstylist that I'm an overshare. I say, okay, I'm gonna let you process. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna rinse you, and then we're gonna put your gloss on at the bowl that'll sit for a few minutes. What that'll that'll do it, da 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 da. I tell people during the process what I'm doing, but I think at the end of the day, people forget that like we're painting on you, we're placing things on you. So if you can kind of stay still and be aware of your body positioning and how we're positioning you, it'll just be better for both of us, because our job at the end of the day is very difficult. Our relationship. I very much have become friends with a lot of my clients over the years, and it's been really great getting to know each other and building that friendship, building that bond. But the one thing that remains the same is that it is still at the end of the day a business relationship. You are paying me to provide a service for you. So even if we go and grab dinner after or grab a drink or we chat the entire time about dogs and personal things, at the end of the day, I need to maintain a professional business relationship when it comes to my boundaries and how I handle my interactions with people. So just know that even if we are close and we have a good banter, there might be times where I have to kind of get serious or have a talk or change pricing or this and that. And none of that is personal, no matter what our relationship is. It just comes down to, it's my business and I have to run my business how I want to, and that's just the reality of it. With that being said, you know, having the business relationship, I think it goes into with like boundary setting, interacting with your stylist. We've all been that person who have received a text really late at night or really early in the morning from like a friend or family member, and it's been so annoying. It's like, oh my God, I just was about to fall asleep and this person texts me. I'm so annoyed. Imagine having that be a constant thing, and it's from people needing something from you to like schedule or have a question about a product, whatever it may be. The biggest thing I can stress when communicating with your hairstylist is be mindful of when you are messaging them. I personally went through something about a month ago where I had a client who I had never done their hair before get referred to me by somebody that I did do their hair, and they proceeded to message me multiple times at all hours of the day, and I would try and get back to them as fast as I could and as speedy as I could and respectful, but it was a lot of back and forth. And I will say, if you're messaging back and forth with a stylist and they're not getting back to you as fast as you would like, and there is a phone number for the salon, maybe go, my stylist might be busy right now. Maybe I'll just pick up the phone and see if they have a receptionist or somebody that can maybe answer this question for me or get me booked. If you are in the scenario where you feel more comfortable, or maybe your stylist prefers you to reach out directly to them, please be mindful of when you are sending them a message. Somebody messaging me in the middle of the night and they asked me a question, and then an hour went by and then question marks popped up. Another hour went by and it was more question marks. It was as if this person was demanding me to respond to them at midnight about booking them a hair appointment. And to me, it's just so annoying. It's so rude. It's so disrespectful. And it's something that I personally would never do. So it's just hard for me to wrap my head around why clients do this to stylists. And I get it. When you want your hair done, you want it done now, but that's not how the world works. And it's a respect thing. And honestly, it's gonna make you look pretty stupid and annoying if you are messaging somebody at midnight demanding a response. It's one of those things where it's like, I have a life too, so I don't want to have to respond on a Sunday to clients. I most likely will wait until Monday at a normal time to respond to somebody if you message me on a Sunday. Just like you have a life outside of your work, you don't want people harassing you about work outside of your working hours. I feel like hairstylists deserve that same amount of respect as anybody else in any other profession. So just something to be mindful of is when you're messaging, whether it's booking an appointment or just having a question, be very mindful of when that is, because remember, we have a personal life too, and we'll get back to you when we can and when it is most appropriate for us to do so. Another thing along the lines with respect is pricing. This is something that just really, I won't even get into some of the things that people do when it comes to pricing, but I will say this. There's always going to be a hairstylist in your budget. It might not heed the results of what you're looking for. Hair is a luxury service at the end of the day. So if I personally am not in your budget for whatever service you're looking to get done, first, I love having open communication with my clients. So if you have a set budget that you could tell me, then I can tell you what I can do for that budget. It might not be what you want, but if you still want to come to me, at least it gives you the opportunity to see what you could achieve for that price point. And then if you can't afford what my services cost, you'll have to go somewhere else. I am not going to bend my business and my pricing to suit your needs. And that's just the same as you don't go to the grocery store and bargain and counteract and be like, well, I think that's ridiculous. That loaf of bread costs $5. That loaf of bread should only cost $3. You don't get to do that with hair either. And it really bothers me that a lot of people do not take that seriously. It causes hairstylists to not charge their worth because they get intimidated and they feel like they're gonna lose all these people if they raise their prices, and that's just not the case. So please be respectful of your stylists and their pricing. They are charging what they need to charge to survive, and also their worth. I personally put a lot of time and money into continuing my education and growing my knowledge and honing in on my crafts and skill sets. And it's one of those things where asking for a discount will just merely get you by. I want people who value me and see the value in me, and the second that anybody questions my pricing or tries to get a discount, I would rather just offer you to go find another stylist that's gonna be a better fit for you and your budget. And there's nothing wrong with not wanting to spend a lot of money. And I'm not saying that I charge a ton of money. I'm just saying there's a budget for everybody. There's a price point for everybody. And instead of telling your hairstylist they charge too much, find a hairstylist that fits into that budget, because it's just how the world works. I personally spend a lot of time and money investing in my own career and my own skills. And so I'm going to charge accordingly to reflect that, and that's what every stylist should do. So again, if you have an issue with paying a certain price point, it's probably time for you to find a new stylist, or maybe research it more. Maybe ask the stylist why they are. I can give a breakdown to my clients of why I'm charging, what each service costs, and why. And I have no problem answering that for people. Open communication is huge, but also changing your expectations for what type of services you're getting, and also the time it takes, the products that's required to use, the knowledge that is required to even be able to execute it, and just be mindful of that and be respectful, and never ever ask a stylist for a discount. Those are just a few things that I thought would be helpful when it comes to being a client and just understanding what your hairstylist wants you to know. That would probably make your experience a little bit easier. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you found it helpful and that it gives you a little bit more insight on expectations when going to the salon, and also what your hairstylist just wishes you knew in general when it comes to hair stuff, you know? That's all I have for today's video. I appreciate you guys watching. If you haven't subscribed, it'd be really cool if you could do that for me. Would love it. I will put my Instagram below for you to follow for future videos. I'll see you guys next week.